Students, please listen carefully to the following instructions and reading of the Topic 5 assessment. This may be helpful for you in taking the test today. You can use this as you do the questions yourself. You will find the test in the GoFormative app, which is linked to your Canvas page under the module for Topic 5 assessment assignment. A preschool has a student-to-teacher ratio of 5:2. Student-to-teacher ratio of 5:2. Which of the following ratios is equivalent to this ratio? Now, one thing, guys, that you can do is you can think of 5:2. Students goes on top, teachers on the bottom. You can look through here, and when you can take any of this information here and find that it's an equivalent ratio to 5 halves, like 45:18, 10:7, 45:18, and 35:10, make sure, though, you're going students to teachers. Okay? All right. Now let's look at number 2. Next page. Now on this one, Jose is using 12 brown tiles and 8 white tiles to design a section of an outdoor patio. 12 brown and 8 white. Very important to keep that in mind. Which ratio compares the number of brown tiles to the total number of tiles in one section? All right, locate the number for brown. Brown goes first. Locate what the total would be, and that would go second. Keep in mind, total. Look down to the next part. It says drag and drop the correct choice into the blank space. Okay? There's going to be 2 blank spaces here, and those also correspond to your table here and here. Your choices are 44, 55, 1, and 33. Okay? Now, let's go to the instructions. The table shows the party affiliation of 100 senators of the 109th Congress. The ratio of Republicans to Democrats. Republicans to Democrats, I'll just make this here, is 5:4. How many senators are Democrat? How many senators are independent? First of all, we have the information for Republicans. There are 55 senators. We correspond that to 55. You should be able to find your Democrats once you do that. And put your answer here, and that also is what we're going to drag to the very first blank up here, one of these choices. Then, if you add these 2 together, you will find out how many you get out of 100 senators. You add those together and subtract from 100, you will find out how many are independent. All right? Okay, let's move on to the next question. Okay, an animal shelter has a ratio of cats to dogs that is 9:7. If the shelter only houses dogs and cats, what is the ratio of dogs, here's what it's asking, to total animals? All right? Well, first of all, this is important. We need to go back and identify which of these numbers is dogs, because we're going to go dogs to total. Once you've done that, you will know what ratio goes here. Then a second shelter has a ratio of cats to dogs of 6:5. Okay? Now, if both shelters have 18 cats, which shelter has more dogs? So once you get your information here for that one, that's great. You've got your ratio of dogs total. But you really just need your information for the ratio of cats to dogs for the next question, and you're going to have to compare both shelters, shelter 1 and shelter 2. Now you can do that by making your cross putting your ratios of cats to dogs in both. Cats to dogs here, okay? Put your ratio in here. On the first one, it was 9 to 7. On the second one, it was 6 to 5, cats to dogs. If both shelters have 18 cats, 18 goes in both of these spots. Find out how many dogs they have, which shelter has more dogs, okay? You can do that by multiplying your diagonals and dividing the other side. I put a big circle here to put your answer in there. Then compare the two. You will type the words first or the word second. Don't abbreviate or anything else, okay? That is your final answer for this one. Okay, let's move on to this. If Mrs. Banks makes 44 quarts of jelly, how many gallons did she make? All right, look in your notes. How many quarts does it take? How many quarts are in 1 gallon? How many? Check your notes. Because you are going up instead of down. This is a larger measure. You will divide once you find out how many quarts are in 1 gallon. Okay? 44 divide what? Okay. In 1 hour, 32 cars pass through a particular intersection. At the same rate, how long would it take for 96 cars to pass through the intersection? Alright, so in 1 hour, 32 cars pass. How many hours is it when 96 cars pass? Okay? Don't forget to multiply your diagonals, divide the other number. Let's look at the next question. How many milliliters of liquid are there in the container shown below? Alright, so let's take a look. We're right at 2 liters. Since you are going down the steps and to the right, or going to a smaller unit of measure, you are going to multiply. How many milliliters are in 1 liter? And you multiply that by 2. Look it up in your notes and type your answer in here. You just need the number. Okay. A loaf of bread weighs about 1 pound. Choose all of the metric measures that are less than 1 pound. So we need to look at all these here. All right. Determine what would be maybe less than 1 pound. Now, when we look at this, 1 pound is equal to 453.592 grams, or 1 pound is equal to 0.453592 kilograms, okay? Now I'm going to go over to here and I'm going to look at each of these. A loaf of bread weighs about 1 pound. Choose all of the metric measures that are less than 1 pound. Is this number less than this? Is this number less than this? What about this number? Is it less? And this number, is it less? And this number, is it less? Compare those. Moving on to the next question. Okay, pay really good attention to this. April can buy a package of 10 folders for $1.20 or a package of 8 folders for $1.12. What is the unit price per folder in each package? Each folder in the package of 10 costs what? Alright, so on this one, you would do 120 divide 10 and get your unit price, okay? Make sure you give me complete cost in it. And then on the next one, you would do 112 divide 8 to get the next unit price on this one for the next answer, okay? And then it says Jessica's buying several bunches of bananas to make desserts for a fundraiser. She can buy 10 pounds of bananas for $14.90 or 8 pounds of bananas for $12.08. Which is the better buy? First, the unit price for 10 pounds of bananas for $14.90 is, well, you've got to find the unit price by doing $14.90 divide 8. And then the second unit price for 8 pounds of bananas for $12.08, you're going to have to do that by doing 12.8 divide 8. And then the cheapest deal is going to be the one that obviously costs you less. And you don't do the unit price here. You go back to these answers. Would buy the blank pounds of bananas for this. Which one would you buy? Would you buy the $14.90 for 8, or the the $14.90 for 10, or the $12.08 for 8? Which one would be the better deal? Now, on completing the ratio table down here, what you could do is you could do 2 times 2 is 4, so 3 times 2 is. You could do 2 times 3 is, so 3 times 3 is, and get your answers there. Now this says, use the table from number 11 to select the graph that corresponds to those coordinates. So you go back to the answers you got from here, all right? And that is the one you will determine which graph is accurate. There's your first choice. And then your second choice pops up right here. Here's your third choice. Oops, there we go. Right there. And your last choice is right here. Okay? And keep in mind when you go back to that table and look at how to graph it, the important thing to remember is the first number in the table is what you're going to move to the right. The second number in the table is what you're going to move up. To the right from 0, up. To the right from 0 and up. Okay? Good luck.